The last verse that we're going to look at here is verse 20. To our God and Father be glory forever and ever. Amen. Element 7. Make his name great. The mindset of having God's name be the one that's recognized, not ours. This is another difficult one, but this is the one, so this is where I get to say it was a little bit in reverse, but let me unpack this first. This element of a Jesus mindset is maybe the hardest, but if we get it, everything else falls into place. Because if our thoughts are mostly concerned about our name, our reputation, what people think about us, how people treat us, then we have a hard time dealing with any of the other mindsets that Paul put out there. It's hard to be grateful. It's hard to pursue truth because we're so worried about all of these perceptions of us. But if we're concerned about making his name great, his reputation known, and helping people meet and think about him, all the rest fall into place. Look at it this way. If I'm willing to make his name great, why? Because I know he can provide anything that's needed for me or for anybody else. Then if I know he can provide for anybody and me, then I also have confidence in his ability. And if I have confidence in his ability, then I'm able to live with a certain amount of integrity because it's not based on my ability, it's on his ability. And I can bring all that together and say, yes, I just want to pursue you. I just want to walk with you and watch what happens. I'm going to learn from you, and my life now starts aligning to you. And then because I see how well all of that is coming together under his name, I have a greater passion for truth. And that passion for truth is not because I went, oh, well, this is true and that's not true. It's because I'm going, oh, you're God and I'm not. Like, I see what you're doing. I see how you're doing it. I want more of you. I want more of what you're doing. So when that falls into place and we have that passion for truth, it brings us back to that humble awareness. And I rein myself in because I'm like, man, I don't want to do my own thing. I know what I can do. I want to see what you can do because you are the one who does miracles. You are the one who changes lives, not me. Which then brings us all the way back to an attitude of gratitude, because when I realize that I didn't do it and I had nothing to do, it's not about my credit, it's not about my glory, it's not about my power. I can be like, God, your name is great, and I'm so grateful that I get to be a part of what you're doing. So you see what I mean? Paul gave it to them backwards. And I think he did that on purpose, so they realize they get to the end of it, it's like, yeah, I gotta recognize that this is all about him first. And classic Paul, it's bookends, man. Didn't he start there at the beginning in chapter 1? To live is Christ, to die is gain. And when you end in chapter 4, it's like, yeah, if we make his name great, we have no problem dying. Because he's the one that's awesome, and we just want to magnify and glorify him. So there you go, there's a lot. And we can unpack, we could spend time unpacking all 7 of those. You can go deeper in those. I encourage you, small groups, home groups, whatever you guys do, take time and go through each of those elements and look at them verse by verse and say, what would it take for me to have a mindset of any of these? Maybe start with the last one. What would it take for me to have a mindset of saying, God's name first? Make his name great, rather than my title, my position, who I am. And then walk through that, encouraging one another, challenging one another, and growing together.